1. So good afternoon, everyone. This is the Planning and Zoning Committee is meeting. Today is Monday, February the 28th. I will do a quick call of the roll for folks that are present. I'm Chair Withers, I'm present. Councilmember Bradford is present. Councilmember Gamble is present. I don't see Councilmember Hager or Hall. Councilmember Murphy is present. Councilmember O'Connell is in another committee that he hopes to be joining us shortly. Councilmember Parker is present. Vice Chair Rutherford is present. Councilmember Sepulveda is present. Councilmember Van Reese is present, and Councilmember Welsh is present. So we do have a quorum. So thank you, everyone. So for our agenda, it's relatively brief, which is merciful. Most things are on consent. I do have one item that is not on consent due to having a late amendment, and that is Councilmember Allen's bill on inclusionary housing. So I will read through the captions of our items, like I said, all of which are on consent except that one. And if any member wishes to pull something off of consent, just let me know. But the items that I have on our agenda that would be potentially on consent are for resolutions. Item number 1, Resolution RS 2022-1399. The sponsors are Councilmembers Allen, Withers, Toombs, and others. Should I go ahead and just read the caption while I'm at it? So the caption for item 1 is that this one declares surplus and approves the disposition of certain parcels of real property in accordance with section 2.24.250G of the Metro Code of Laws. And again, the sponsors are Councilmembers Allen, Withers, Toombs, and others. Item number 2 is Resolution RS 2022-1400. The sponsors are Councilmembers Sepulveda, Allen, Withers, and Bradford. This approves an option agreement between the Metropolitan government and James and Edith McClendon, authorizing the purchase of certain parcels of property owned by the McClendons at 0 Tusculum Road, then another 0 Tusculum Road, and 0 Bart Drive. Item number 3, Resolution RS 2022-1410. The sponsors are Councilmembers Parker, Withers, Allen, and Young. Approves Amendment 1 to Agreement 210258 by and between the State of Tennessee, Department of Transportation, and Metro Government, acting between NDOT for the acceptance of work in connection with the early acquisition of right-of-way of 6 parcels for Phase 1 of the North-South Arterial Boulevard between Spring Street and Woodland Street as part of the East Bank Planning Study. Item number 4 is Resolution 2022-1412. The sponsors are Councilmembers O'Connell, Allen, and Withers. Approves a memorandum of understanding by and between the Metro Planning Department and the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency to advance the planning and reconstruction of certain areas of downtown Nashville damaged by the December 2020 bombing. Item number 5 is not on consent because we have a late amendment, but item 6 would be on consent. This is Ordinance BL 2022-1117. The sponsors are Councilmembers Taylor, Allen, Withers, and Young. Authorizes Metro government acting by and through Metro Department of Water and Sewage Services, hereinafter known as Metro, to enter into an agreement with Bancroft Oakwyn Jr., hereinafter known as the developer, to provide improved public sanitary water service through the construction of an improved stormwater system. Item number 7 is Ordinance BL 2022-1118. The sponsors are Councilmember Van Reese, Withers, and Young. Authorizes the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public access easement rights for property located at 532 Lamont Drive. And finally, item number 8, which is Ordinance BL 2022-1119. The sponsors are Councilmember Stiles, Withers, and Young. Authorizes the Metro Government to adjust and raise casting of existing sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 5700 Crossings Boulevard. Vice Chair Rutherford, would I be able to get you to bring a motion for the consent agenda? Well, first of all, does any member have anything that you'd wish to pull off the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion from Vice Chair Rutherford.
Motion on the consent agenda.
Thank you. So, having said that, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, hearing none, the consent calendar passes. And just for those that are interested in the capital improvements budget, as soon as we're done here, we'll go ahead and go into that joint meeting with Budget and Finance to discuss our CIB prioritization. So that will be coming out probably momentarily. But we do have one item that was not on the consent agenda due to it having a late amendment, and this is item number 5, Ordinance BL 2021-912. The sponsors are Councilmembers Allen, O'Connell, Suara, and others. This amends Chapter 2.213 of the Metropolitan Code to create a mechanism for the implementation of the Inclusionary Housing Incentive Program. And I will recognize Councilmember Allen to speak to this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to move the bill and then move an amendment. Is that the order with a brief explanation?
Okay. So we have a motion to move the bill. Is there a second? We have a second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Great. So we have the bill before us.
Great. So brief explanation of the bill in general, and then I'll move on to the amendment. So this is a companion bill to BL 832, which is on public hearing. It will come before this committee theoretically in 2 weeks from now. But the pair of these bills create a fund that is part of a tool for inclusionary housing, strictly for the downtown code. It would allow downtown builders to take advantage of the bonus height program by providing a public good, in this case, housing that is affordably priced, by way of a lease agreement with MDHA. That enables the owners to still get full value so that we're not violating any state regulations, but that MDHA can then income qualify tenants, and they would then be paying an affordable rate, which is a third of their income based on the information that MDHA gathers. This amendment simply gives the authority to do the math calculations, and I've got a spreadsheet that shows what that math looks like, which I haven't handed out to anybody, so I'll show it to you if that would be helpful. But the assessor would then calculate what additional property values will be generated by allowing this additional height, and then that extra money would then be used to pay the supplement. So the idea is that this does not cost the taxpayer anything. It is completely self-funded. And this bill here that we're debating simply creates that fund so that we've got a dedicated place in the general fund where we know that we can fund this. So with that, I would move the amendment that simply states that it's the assessor that does these calculations.
Okay, so we have a motion to move the amendment. Is there a second on that? We have a second. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Give everyone a second. I see no requests for discussion, so I'll call the question. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none. Your amendment is approved, and we would now have the bill as amended.
Thank you. I'd like to move the bill as amended again with another brief explanation.
Great. Is there a second? We have a second. Go ahead, please.
Okay, just brief explanation. This, as I said, this is part of a pair. We have put this before the downtown community and gotten some great feedback from them. There may well be a few more tweaks that we incorporate. So it may end up needing to slow down at some point down the road, but I would like to go ahead and move it tonight. And if we need to slow things down to get that additional input, then we'll do that on third reading.
Great. Is there any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? I think I heard none. So, your congratulations, Councilmember Allen. Your bill is amended, is recommended for approval by the Planning and Zoning Committee. And that concludes the business of the Planning and Zoning Committee, with the exception of the CIB per capital improvements budget prioritization, which we can go ahead and get started on that in a couple of minutes here, just to give folks time. And I think Mr. Claxton is present to make his way up to answer any additional questions we have. So we'll look forward to that starting just momentarily. Thank you.